things are pretty screwed up. We'll all agree, right? What is really screwed up is the world is massively in debt. The workforce is shrinking. Population growth is slowing down. It's slowing down GDP growth. So there's not enough GDP growth to pay or service the amount of debts out there. And what we found since 2008, that the answer to this debt issue has been printing of more money, debasement of currency.
Wait a minute, everyone. Welcome to BitcoinZilla, your platform for daily cryptocurrency analysis and news. Our mission is to keep it simple. BitcoinZilla offers engaging information that is easy to understand. Our analysts keep their eyes on the latest news to provide valuable insights via email. Don't miss out on this opportunity. Join our community of 10,000 subscribers and experience the new edge with BitcoinZilla. Subscribe now. In this video, Raoul will share his views on the economic system, the stimulus, the debt, the inflation, and the crypto market. He will address some of the key issues that many people are concerned about, such as, is the world really in a financial mess? What's the real impact of our shrinking workforce and slowing population growth? Are we truly unable to service our debts? And has the solution since 2008 been merely printing more money? Let's join Raoul Powell in a conversation about these topics and more.
People think of it in terms of, at first they think it's going to be inflation, as in the price of CPI goes up, but it's actually not. It's actually something much worse, is wages don't rise, but assets go up, because optically you're debasing the currency. Your future self is getting poorer because assets are all about storing wealth for future deferred consumption. But what's happening is you can't afford as much of that now. And so your future self is in fact poorer. So a classic example is a 35-year-old now in the United States, getting married, having kids. A house is very expensive now. Compared to when Peter and I were young, it was relatively cheap, 3 times incomes. Now it's like 10 times incomes. So there's no real way of getting up the ladder. The equity market is much more expensive. Your kind of percentage share of the S&P is so much less. So the advantages that your parents had are not available to you. So that's a problem for society overall, is this issue of debasement of currency. The governments are doing it because there's no way of paying the debt. So what you're going to have to do is continue to print money. So then if that is the case, and I found out in this everything code analysis that I talked to you about, what we found is since 2008, they reset interest rates. It's like a debt reset. The debt jubilee happened. It was everybody was given the chance to not pay interest. And everybody reset their debts on this 3 to 5 year time horizon. And so 4 years is the middle, and we've got this perfect 4-year cycle. All assets are now incredibly correlated with this cycle, whether it's emerging markets, whether it's the dollar, whether it's rates, whether it's crypto, whether it's gold, whether it's equities, everything. So if we've got a super correlated environment where asset prices keep going up because of debasement of currency, i.e. the optics, because the value of the currency is going down, then your job is to find something that offsets it. So the rate of debasement, by my calculation, is about 15% a year on a globalized basis. So your hurdle rate is 15%.
MicroStrategy unveiled plans to generate $500 million by issuing convertible notes due in 2031. Echoing their previous fundraising efforts, the newly acquired funds are earmarked for Bitcoin acquisitions, along with covering various general corporate expenditures. The crypto market rally is showing signs of slowing down, but Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies are still attracting buyers. Here's a quick look at the top 5 cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin. Bitcoin is showing strong buying interest. If it breaks above the current resistance, it could reach $80,000. If it falls below $70,000, it might test the support line. Ethereum. Ether is trying to stay above $4,000. If it goes above $4,100, it could rise to $4,868. But be careful, as it's overbought. Support is at $3,600. Binance Coin. BNB is doing well above $460. If it goes past $617, it could rally to $670. If it drops below $500, it might fall to $460. Solana. Solana is on the rise, with support at $153. If it stays above this, it could go up to $184. Key support is at $126. XRP is facing resistance at $0.74. If it can establish support at $0.67, it could rise to $0.85. If not, it might fall to the 20-day EMA of around $0.62.
Equities have done something not far off that, but that just means you're not actually making any money. You're actually just standing still. NASDAQ, which is in a secular trend, has actually beaten that 15% hurdle rate somewhat. So it's actually helped. The traditional way of doing it would have been gold. And, I've been a long-term gold investor. I've always liked gold. But gold has not done particularly well in recent years against debasement. On a globalized basis, it still works beautifully well as a global currency. And against global debasement, over time, it works. But the really strong debasement we've been having in recent years just hasn't done well enough. And many of us from the macro world started thinking, okay, we need to find what is this hedge? What is the right way of doing this? And that's where crypto, which I've been involved in for a long time, started to really fit in here, because it offers a bunch of ways that the financial system can use it in an overly indebted system, where you've got a collateral and then like 30 uses of that same collateral. So nobody owns anything. You own a fraction of what you think you own in an indebted system. Same with a bank. You have money in a bank, it's not your money. It's actually the bank's money, and that's been proven time and time again. Bank bail-ins in Europe were particularly bad. So we've got a broken financial system, and the blockchain rails are something that's actually very useful. We can figure out who owns what at any point with instant settlement. So it reduces a lot of the risk of the settlement layer, but also you gave the rise of cryptocurrencies, which also have this supply and demand dynamic that's interesting. There's a limited supply, and it has the properties somewhat of digital gold. And that's worked very well. If you look at that, because you've got this technology adoption of the blockchain, plus this store of value or this collateral layer, it's massively outperformed everything. So it's been a phenomenally good asset, even with these massive drawdowns en route. We have enormous drawdowns, monstrous, and still it's the best performing asset in all recorded history, almost on any time horizon. So it makes it very difficult to allocate any money in anything else. And that's why I've struggled. I just do every chart against Bitcoin or every chart against the Fed balance sheet and try and say, okay, well, what goes up? Gold has actually gone down versus the Fed balance sheet. I think that's more of a temporary state of affairs than a permanent state of affairs. Again, I'm actually not an anti-gold person whatsoever. I just think when you've got technology plus gold, call it that as a narrative, you're always going to do better. And in our job to help people navigate this journey, if you're 65 years old, gold does a great job for you. If you're 35-year-old, you ain't going to get anywhere. You have to gain wealth, not just protect wealth, because you don't have it when you're young. And that's the difference here. This is the core difference to me, is there's a suitability factor for different types of people. And you're trying to solve different problems.
Peter Schiff, an economist and gold supporter, has shared his thoughts on the upcoming Bitcoin halving. He believes that the selling behavior of current Bitcoin holders is more important than the halving event in determining the price of Bitcoin. Thailand-based asset management funds can now launch private funds for investing in U.S. spot Bitcoin exchange-traded funds, ETF, according to the country's securities regulator. The approval of Bitcoin ETF by U.S. regulators has opened opportunities for Thai asset management firms to gain exposure to the premier crypto asset. A New York federal judge has ruled that the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, has plausibly alleged that Gemini and Genesis violated securities laws through the Gemini Earn program. If you've been with us so far, a big thank you. Don't forget to subscribe for free to Bitcoin Zella for your daily news. The link is waiting below. That's all for today's crypto news. Stick around for more updates, insights, and analysis on cryptocurrencies. Share your thoughts in the comments, like this video, and subscribe for more exciting content.